Yo, yo, yo. What is up, everybody? So stoked that you are here. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. If you could mute yourself, that would be great. And then we're going to have opportunities to share and do all kinds of stuff. So you can unmute yourself then. So if you mute yourself, that would be wonderful. Obviously, my name is Matthew Ferry. You know that. I'm your host. You know that too. I like to state those obvious things. We also have Kristen here with us online. She is the supreme commander over here at Matthew Ferry International. You can think of me as the service provider, the product, and you can think of her as the business builder and the company leader. So you're attending this bonus call for my new webinar. And my new webinar is called Ho Hum to Hallelujah. 8 steps to manifest what you really want in 2023. And you're here because you signed up at the Epic Life Live. And I promised you a powerful bonus training call before we kick everybody else off. So everybody else going to be on the phone or on the Zoom with us next week. Right now, it's just our small group of people. I think we had 32 or something like that sign up here for this particular call to kick off your manifesting journey. So I don't want to spend another minute, on pomp and circumstance and all of that stuff. What I want you to do is I actually want you to write down the topic for today's training call. Can you write down for me, please, the manifesting blueprint? The manifesting blueprint. Here's what I have in store for you. I actually want to give you a roadmap to reorganize your life so you can create the conditions to have your dreams come true in 2023. And it really is about creating these conditions. You can't make miracles occur, but what you can do is set the conditions for the miracles to occur. And it's sort of like you can't make the plant grow, but what you can do is you can create the conditions conducive for the plant to grow. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to create the conditions that are conducive. And that's really the focus here on this particular bonus training call. So would you do me a favor? Would you reflect back on the most important goals that you wrote down? We wrote them down together at Epic Life Live. Will you write them down again, please? I want to know what you're playing for. Or you can write down any wild and crazy inspiring dream that you want to manifest during our time together. Just write it down now, please. All right. So you've written down sort of what you're playing for, right? Like you're anteing up essentially. Like what is the goal in the dream? If you're just joining us, please, if you would mute yourself. We don't mess around over here. It's like we're right on time. We're already into the process. It's only 4 minutes after the hour. We're already into the process. You can count on me for that kind of precision. I don't want to fucking wait for you to show up. I want to just like get rocking. Okay. So I'm going to propose that you're stuck in a future that is almost certainly going to occur based on 4 things. That you're stuck in a future that is highly probable to occur because of your past intentions, the current conditions that are present in your life because of those intentions, your current set of opposing intentions, you got a bunch of them, and then the false beliefs that you have about yourself, about other people, and about life. So again, I'm going to propose that you're stuck in a future. There's this future that is happening, and it's happening because of those 4 things. But this is not a new idea for someone like you. And what I'd love for you to do is I'd like you to write down what you think your biggest block is to making your dream come true in 2023. Could you just write that down right now? What is the biggest block that you think you have for your dream coming true in 2023? And then I'd love to hear from anyone who would like to share. Anyone who is open to sharing would be super awesome to hear from you. The biggest block that you think you have. All right,
Sure.
Linda, I think you unmuted yourself. Go for it.
Hey, Matthew. For me, it's the drunk monkey fear of believing that I don't have enough money to either invest or to take action in order for me to make things happen.
Got it. Okay, so it's the fear that I don't have enough money to do the things that I really want to do, invest and take action. I think that I saw Kara, you unmuted yourself. Love to hear from you. Yeah, go.
Second guessing myself, questioning and overanalyzing everything.
Outstanding. Okay. Anybody else want to jump in? I can't necessarily see everybody at the same time. Think,
I'll go.
yeah, jump in.
Yeah, so me, it's my belief system due to past experiences.
So it's like my beliefs about the things that I have experienced and about who I was and what life is. Good. Anybody else have something that they want to share about the belief that you have that'll be blocking you, or what you think the block is for your 2023?
Hi, my name is Raymond.
Raymond, jump in, go.
Yeah, for me, it's procrastination and distraction. Not being able to focus on one thing at a time. That's where I'm stuck at. Yeah.
Procrastination and then not being able to focus. Okay, I think we got two more who want to share.
For me, I think it's just my analytical side and my ego just getting in the way. Just overthinking.
Analytical side, ego, overthinking, that will definitely block you. Okay, so everybody mute themselves again. We'll jump back in here in a moment. But I want you to just write down this idea for me, please. Will you write down, please set the intention to release this block and come into my full power. Please set the intention to release this block and come into my full power. This is the first intention that we are going to be writing together. Please set the intention to release this block and come into my full power. And now you just need to be ready for this intention to start coming true. And tonight we're going to begin to work on it. So we're going to begin to release that block. We're going to use this manifesting blueprint. And I'm going to create a little roadmap here to reorganize your life, to create the conditions for your dreams to come true in 2023. And I want to just go back one more time. You can't plant corn and expect wheat, but we do it all the time. We plant corn, we create conditions for one thing, but we expect something else. It's called an opposing intention. And tonight we're going to talk about 8 conditions that you're going to begin to play with, putting into your life, that will have your goals and dreams manifest. Knowing, commitment, alignment, being, speaking, action, structure, and integrity. You don't need to write them down. We're going through them one by one. Let's start off with the first condition. Write down the word for me, please. Knowing. 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 Knowing is a condition that is required for things to manifest. And so you develop this faith that your dreams are going to happen when you put your attention on them. You develop that faith. And for me, I use a mantra, and I'd love for you to write the mantra down. And the mantra is, it's always going my way, even when it's not. It's always going my way, even when it's not. And part of my homework assignment for you tonight is for you to begin to formulate the recognition that everything has been manifesting for you. It just takes way longer than you want, and it comes up in ways that you aren't willing to admit, like, oh, that is the essence of what I've been thinking about. So the key to developing your knowing is to actually learn how to quiet your mind. Like, that's the key, right? It's like you need to basically be studying my book, over and over and over and over, Quiet Mind, Epic Life, and really practicing the techniques of not learning to quiet your mind through meditation, which I'm a huge fan of, and it is highly recommended, but actually learning to quiet your mind by removing the motivation for your mind to think. Now, some of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight will do that, actually. Like, you got to learn to trust that the perfect ideas, the perfect people, the perfect circumstances will eventually present themselves. And the way you start to trust that is you look at your past and you go like, oh, wow, yeah, I mean, people just keep showing up. The other thing is you got to trust that the ideas are coming through you, not from you. They're coming from some higher place than your individual expression or your individual perspective. So we are all one thing expressing itself with infinite variety. And you are what is being expressed. So we're all one thing expressing itself with infinite variety. You're what is being expressed. So knowing is connecting with that idea and then surrendering to the things that are coming through you, allowing them to happen. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be in action. You will, but there's no need to fret or be upset or freak out or worry or doubt or whatever. Like, all of that stuff actually just jams up the system and it slows things down. So here is my suggested homework for the week. And I'm going to give you a suggestion after each one of these 8 things. Here's my suggested homework. And then I'm wondering, Tristan, can you be my buddy and throw it into the group me? Thank you for doing that. You and I kind of do that all the time together on the mastermind as well. So here's the first one. That first suggested homework is to make a list of all your successes in life to remind you of all that has happened. You probably hit a 65 to 70% hit ratio, like 65 to 70% of the things that you go after, you likely hit and they happen. But you have to go back and look, because your mind will be like, no, remember, your mind's job is not, it's not thriving. Your mind's job is survival. So your mind, like anything that's thriving, that's way back here in your memory, your mind's like, fuck that. I don't need to remember that. That doesn't matter. So your mind only remembers the shitty, crappy, hard, nasty, negative stuff. Your mind is like, you suck and you need to remember. And things don't work out and you better fucking remember, because in the future, they're not going to work out and you're going to get your ass kicked and you're going to get hurt, right? Whatever it is. Your mind doesn't actually try to give you information that has you go like, oh shit, I'm blessed. Everybody just write it down. I'm blessed. You are blessed. Okay, so again, tonight's call is the Manifesting Blueprint. It's a bonus call before we get everybody else on the line. There's about 32 of us that signed up at Epic Life Live, and we're all on together. And so this is a roadmap to reorganize your life and create the conditions for your dreams to come true in 2023. And there are 8 conditions. The first one we just went through, which is knowing. The second one, will you write down for me? Commitment. Commitment. So being committed to manifesting your dreams is not easy, because normally we're attached to our dreams. So it's being committed versus being attached. And oftentimes what we have to do is distinguish what attachment is, because we don't even know we're attached. But my definition of attachment is it's an exaggerated fear of losing an imaginary benefit. So here you are, like you're getting all like fired up and I'm not getting what I want. Well, I want this thing and it's not coming. And how come everybody else has it and I'm not, and I suck, right? We're getting attached about something in the future. It's an imaginary benefit. It's not even here, but we're afraid we're going to lose it. That's attachment. Now, the thing is that when you're attached, you're afraid. And when you're afraid, you're inflexible, you're annoying, you're agitating to be around, you're repelling, you don't think straight, you're not creative, you're not open. Like all of these things basically jam up your system when you're afraid. So when you're manifesting, will you just write this down? Flexibility is your greatest asset. Flexibility is your greatest asset. That's why learning to quiet your mind is so important. Because when you get your mind quiet, it opens up this idea of like, oh, wait a second. I don't actually know how to have this goal or dream come about. I mean, I have ideas. You know, I've talked to other people and they've given me ideas. But if I'm being honest, I have no idea. The only thing that I can do is run experiments and see what happens. So you just have to admit that you don't know how it's all going to work out. And you literally have to intentionally quit. Like you have to sign your resignation. I quit pretending like I am a psychic and that I know the future, because you don't. When you're committed, you're open. You admit that you don't know how things are going to happen. So you become more of a scientist. You start to run experiments to see what works and what doesn't work. You essentially go like, all right, here's what I'm proposing. I have a hypothesis that this is going to happen. And then you put it into play and then you see where it goes. And some of it works and some of it doesn't. And you just keep adjusting, because you're committed. When you're attached, something doesn't happen and you're like, oh no, I'm going to lose everything. Right? And you start freaking out. But when you're committed, you're like, oh, that's interesting. So here's some suggested homework for you in this regard. And it is to design and run an experiment this week. Design and run an experiment this week. In fact, I'm going to take this, I'm going to take the chat and I'm going to move it, I'm going to pop it out and I'm going to move it over here so that I can just paste things in real easy right over there. There we go. So design and run an experiment this week and then just see what happens. Like, let's be honest, you don't actually know what it's going to take to manifest your goals and your dreams. Really important. Okay. So let's go back to this idea. Like, what do we have going on here? We're all at Epic Life Live together. We got super excited. I invited you to come and join the ho-hum to Hallelujah 8-step process. You said yes. And then I said, all right, I'm going to give you a bonus call. And the bonus call is like a whole subset of the manifesting process that I use in my life to make sure that I reorganize things to create the conditions for my dreams to come true. Because what I found was so often I don't have the conditions right. And then I'm like, why is it not working? And how come everybody else is getting what it like jams up my system and I don't feel good. I feel like I'm misaligned. And that's really number 3. Can you write down for me, please? Alignment. Alignment. Now, the dictionary defines alignment as arrangement in correct or appropriate positions. So it's arrangement in correct or appropriate positions. Now, your alignment is thrown out by opposing intentions, and you know it because you feel frustrated, or you feel like I'm missing something, or you feel like, God, it's always out of my reach. Opposing intentions. Let me share some of the opposing intentions that I have addressed and dealt with over the years. These are things that have blocked me from living the dreams that I've had. So for example, I wanted to be famous, but I was unconsciously fearing being persecuted for my ideas. So I didn't really put myself out there because so it's like I had the gas pedal down and I had the brake on at the same time. That's an opposing intention. I wanted to be physically fit and physically optimized, but I resisted feeling uncomfortable. So I would go to food to change my state, or I wouldn't do things that were really physically difficult because I didn't want to feel uncomfortable. It was an opposing intention. Mute yourself, please, if you can. We got some unmuted people. Looks like there. I'm going to just click that. There we go. So I also wanted to be a very strong man for my woman in my relationships, but I resisted my woman being upset or being angry. So instead of being strong, I would be manipulative, or I would submit, or I would avoid conflict. I would essentially present like victim or weakness, and it would create an opposing intention. So let me ask you a question. What is an opposing intention that you have right now? Just write it down for me, please. What's an opposing intention that you have right now that you can already see? And then if you're willing to, write it into the chat and I'll read some of them off. An opposing intention that you already have. You already know you have it.
Like something we want to happen, or?
No. So for example, Danny, let's say opposing intention. I want to be wealthy. I want Rolls Royces. Those two things oppose each other because spending $350,000 on the Rolls Royce before you have done the things to make yourself wealthy stop you and slow you down. Those are opposing intentions. And I just want you to know, like 90% of all people who want to be wealthy want to have the shit first before they do the work to become wealthy. It's an opposing intention.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So Lacey put in here, for example, I want the beachfront house, but I don't want to give up my life force energy to make the money to buy it. Deanna said, I want to connect with others, but I don't like to talk to people. Tristan says, I want to be abundant, thriving, but I keep living in survival. Those are all opposing intentions. Thanks for sharing, guys. I appreciate that. So again, you have an inner environment, but you also have an outer environment. So your external environment might actually be misaligned. For example, in my life, being a coach was actually taking up all of my time. So I created this lifestyle, had all this stuff and all these expenses and all these bills based on being a superstar coach. But I wanted to be a luminary. I wanted to do consciousness work. I wanted to start my Center for Rapid Enlightenment, but I was so strangled by the life that I created that I wasn't able to do the things that I really wanted. It created a set of opposing intentions, but they were in my environment. The decisions that I made and the subsequent financial cost of my life made my luminary dreams impossible. So let me ask you this week to do this suggested homework assignment. Write down this week. Again, you don't have to do all these, but just whatever ones call you. Write down any opposing intentions that you find in your life this week. Again, you don't have to do everything. I'm going to give you a suggestion on every one of these, but you don't have to do all of them. Here we go. So we're talking about the manifesting blueprint. And this is a roadmap to reorganize your life, to create the conditions for your dreams to come true in 2023. There are 8 conditions, and we are on the 4th condition now. So will you write down for me who I am being? Who I am being. This is such an important condition to get set. Who you're being, so we could think of being as your essential nature or your perspective. And really what we're talking about here is who you are in relationship to something, in relationship to your business, in relationship to other people. So it's like Deanna was saying, I really want to get out there and talk to people. I don't really want to talk to people. So who she's being, like her relationship to talking to people contains within it some sort of fear about herself that she has not yet distinguished and let go. How you're viewing the situation influences your actions. Your actions are critical to your manifestations, because if you don't take action, you're not going to be manifesting anything. Will you just write down, I don't need to get motivated to take action. I don't need to get motivated to take action. You just don't. And we think that we need to motivate ourselves to take action. No, actually what you do is you work on shifting who you're being, how you see the situation. We could call this an aspect of recontextualization. You begin to recontextualize the way that you see things such that you begin to recognize all is well. Everything that I want is coming. It's always going my way, even when it's not. When you start to get into those frameworks, when you begin to see things from that perspective, well, what happens? You automatically become committed and not attached. You automatically start to develop your inner knowing. You're going to see that all these conditions are interwoven together. They're all about creating a framework inside and out for what you want to come into your life. And I suspect that what you want to come into your life is not necessarily something that has been coming. I suspect that most of the things that you really want to manifest are not an expansion, though they might be, but most of them I suspect are like a brand new thing, like an offshoot. And that's going to take a shift in who you're being. So here's my suggested homework. My suggested homework on this particular idea, hold on, let me just paste it in there for you. Suggested homework is to reflect on this question. Is who I'm being in alignment with my goals? Is who I'm being in alignment with my goals? So if we go back to some of these opposing intentions, for example, Jason put down, I want to be a high producing realtor, but I don't want to take the steps to be great. So then the question becomes, who am I being that has me, one, think that I'm not taking the steps to be great? Maybe I am actually taking the steps to be great. But what is my self-concept there? Sherry said, I want financial freedom, but I don't want any stress. And we all know that the financial freedom itself is going to be a set of decisions that are definitely outside the domain of our normal way of operating. Most of us were trained to be workers, not investors, not wealth creators. And so a recontextualization is necessary. You might begin to implement something a little more like what Carol Dweck talks about in her work about growth mindset, where the process becomes the reward. This is a shift in who you're being. So for example, like I've been doing professional yoga recently versus just doing yoga every day. I think I told you that I lowered the bar and I can lay there if I want, and that's yoga. I don't always lay there, but sometimes I do. But I've been going to yoga studios. And when I go to the yoga studios, like this, it's way more strenuous. And there's a lot more stress on the body and pain and all kinds of stuff. And I've just been playing with who I've been being. And I've been playing with this idea, like as I'm experiencing the stress, or maybe I'm in some sort of a plank and all of a sudden I'm starting to shake everywhere, I literally am smiling and I'm saying, this is it, Matthew. Like, this is why you came. You came for this. This is the reward. The reward is the stress. The reward is this suffering that you're going through. Like, eat this up, drink this up. It's just a shift in who you're being. All right. We're doing a manifesting blueprint. This is a bonus call for you because you were at the Epic Life Live. It's a roadmap. We're talking about conditions, creating conditions that are conducive to your dreams coming true. Will you write down condition number 5, speaking? Speaking. And then I want you to write down what I think is a really interesting way to think about who you are. Will you write down for me, please? My life is what I say to myself and to others. My life is what I say to myself and others about myself, others, and situations. My life is what I say to myself and others about myself, others, and situations. You want to begin to recognize that your life is not all the stuff that's going on. It's what you're saying about the stuff. So it's what you're saying to yourself about the stuff, and it's what you're saying to others about the stuff. And what you're saying to yourself influences your way of being and your experience of it. And what you're saying to others influences their experience of you. Write this down. How people know me. How people know me dictates how much wealth, prosperity, and opportunity will come my way. How people know me dictates how much wealth, prosperity, and opportunities will come my way. See, your ability to manifest is actually related to the expectations of the people around you. So if the people around you aren't thinking of you in relationship to whatever it is that you're manifesting, then you don't get any opportunities. When I was making the transition from sales trainer to mindset guy, and then ultimately the transition to spiritual teacher guy, I swear to God, I gave up sales training, and it took 7 or 8 years for people to stop asking me to do sales training, because how they knew me indicated the kinds of opportunities that would come my way. And I had to speak who I was and what I was committed to over and over and over and over and over and over. And it was like I was fighting against an avalanche of what I was known for. What I was known for was so big, and it was so solid and so in the world. It was such a hardcore structure that I had to overexert the amount of communication in order to get people to relate to me differently. And when they did, my opportunity sets shifted. So your wealth, your prosperity, and your opportunities are all going to be dictated by how people know you. Your ability to manifest is related to the expectations that people have of you. So I'm going to put in a suggested homework assignment here. Hold on. And my suggested homework assignment is, 1, make a promise to stop complaining this week. Because if your complaints become what you are known for. And then 2 is make a promise to start talking about what you want, what you're committed to, and what you're creating. I promise you, this is way harder than you think. Way, way, way harder. It is so easy to bitch, moan, complain, whine, and talk about all the shit that doesn't work in your life. Like the people in your life, they're like, yes, tell me more. They're like, pull it out of you. Just bitch more to me. They want to drink up your negativity and your bullshit and your victimhood. Versus when you start talking about what you're committed to and what you want and what you're creating, you're going to find you don't have a very big audience for that. And it's going to take something. It's going to take something for you to start to build an audience that can listen to you in that way. So we're working.
Matthew, can you explain the second one again, please? The second
Yeah,
one?
no problem. So the first one is to make a promise to stop complaining about complaining this week. And then the second one is to make a promise to start talking about what you want, what you're committed to, and what you are creating. All that I'm saying is that the people in your life, for sure, love your bitching, moaning, and complaining. Like you got a big tribe of people who just want to drink that up, because then they don't have to deal with their own shit. They can just be constantly focused on how the world is wrong, and then they don't have to take responsibility. But when you start to shift and talk about what you want, what you're committed to, where you're going, what you're doing, what you're going to find is people don't really have a listening for that. So it's like you get shut down or people change the subject or they're like, whatever. I'm dealing with this right now with one of my Wall Street clients who like climbed to the top of the mountain. He made it. He has all the money that he wants. He's going back into the business that he took a reprieve from, but he's going back in a totally new way. And so when he says to people like, I'm super excited to be here, but under no circumstances am I going to work past 5 o'clock today. Like their brains literally just go like, like they don't even know they can't even fucking understand what does that mean? What do you mean? Like 5 o'clock, isn't that lunch? You know what I mean? Like their brain like it totally thinks of him in a different way. And he has to retrain their listening. I hope that answered it. Let's go to number 6. So we got 8, right? Number 6 is action. Action is one of the most important conditions that you can put into play. And you want to think about it like this. You can't plant corn and expect wheat to grow, but we do it all the time. Like you can't, like you're like, I'm just a manifesting, mystic, right? You can't sit on the couch and expect yourself to get fit. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work. You do have to also play by the laws of physics. You can't play video games all day and expect to find the partner of your dreams. You can't manifest without action. Action creates magic. Action creates momentum. Action opens up possibilities. New people, new skills, new systems, new ideas, new networks, new locations, they all stem from taking action of some sort. So what I want you to write down for me right now is what is one tiny little action that you could take this week to move your big dream forward. And then that is my suggestion for the week. What is that one little tiny action that you could do this week to move your dreams forward? I don't have to spend a lot of time on action because you're an action taker. I know you know how to do it. So this is the blueprint. This is the roadmap where we're reorganizing our life. We want to create conditions. It's like, I don't have to teach you what it takes to grow corn. I have to teach you how to set the conditions so that corn grows. Because corn grows with or without your permission. Corn grows whether you want it to or not. The question becomes, can you create the conditions for the corn to grow in your area? Corn will grow no matter what. But will it grow for you? The answer is yes, if you create the conditions for it to grow. And that's what we're focused on right now. Let's look at the 7th condition of 8. The 7th condition is called structure. Structure. Structure creates the conditions for your manifestations and your dreams to come into reality. And yet, so often we resist creating structure. So structure from my point of view, structure is like systems, procedures. Sorry, I'm fiddling with things on my desk. Systems, procedures, processes, workflows, accountability, monitoring. You could think of, for example, if you look at any successful undertaking, whatever it is, it has a structure to it. For example, teaching your children to brush their teeth every single day starts with structure. So it's like you're monitoring them and then you teach them this procedure. So it's like every night, every morning, we go through the same procedure over and over and over and over and over and over and over. You're there. You don't leave it a chance. You're like, it's right there, pick it up. Pick the thing up, put the toothpaste on, brush the teeth. No, keep going, no, don't spit out yet. Keep right. That's a structure. Anything that is outside of your life that you want to manifest that you don't have needs a structure. And if there's no structure, it won't exist. So write this down. Anything that has structure will exist. Anything that has structure will exist. So if we look at all the stuff in your life that works, that functions, that that makes your life as good as it is now, what we would find is there's some structure in place. And that structure oftentimes in the beginning needs to be very rigid to hold it in place, because your life will fight back. No, I don't want to do that thing. Your life will fight back, but the structure holds it in place until it becomes easier and easier and easier. And then you can kind of remove the structure. And now it's like it has its own momentum and its own habit. So your old structures right now are actually blocking your new dreams. And this is why you see in the Spiritual Hooligan logo, there's a match. The match really represents that the creative process is destructive, and it's going to take some dynamite blowing up habits, people, routines, groups you belong to, people you spend time with, how you spend your time, like the systems of your life, what you're known for in your community. Those things right now are actually blocking you from getting what you want. And you have to be really, really diligent about destroying structures, like literally destroying them and making room for the structures that will create conditions for your dreams. So here's my suggested homework for you. I'm going to put it into the chat, and then Tristan is also putting it into the group me for us. Thanks again for that. So my suggested homework is to design at least one structure to create the conditions for your 2023 dream. Please remember, I've given you 7 homework assignments. In no way do I think you're going to do all 7. There's going to be one in here where you're like, ooh, I'm doing that. And that's the one to do, because it has alignment for you, right? It's like you're like, ooh, there's energy there. That's all you want to do. You want to do the ones that have energy.
Say that again, Matthew.
About the homework? Yeah. So I'm giving you 8 total things to do, and there's a couple more at the end. Let's call it 10 in the end. And I'm positive you're not going to do all of them. In fact, I don't want you to do all of them.
No, I mean, what was the homework for number 7?
It's in the chat. So if you look in the chat, you'll see it's there. It's design one new structure to create the conditions for your 2023 dream. Everything that I've been saying, I've been putting into the chat for you as well, okay?
And it's in Group Me as well, so you can permanently see it. Did everyone join the Group Me? There's a couple of people that might not be in there.
Yeah, if you didn't join the
I
group,
haven't.
yeah, get in there, stat,
Okay.
because that's where we're going to give the gift. That's where we're going to connect. I mean, the truth is, we're going to have, I think, like 70 or 80 people or something in the group. And like, those are your prime targets for giving the gift. And the way you're going to track them down is through Group Me. That's how we're all going to connect with each other. Okay. The last condition is a doozy, but it's probably my single most favorite. And it's my most favorite because it's the thing that I was the shittiest with, that I worked really diligently to overcome. And as I did, everything in my life transformed. Will you write down for me integrity? This is one of the most important conditions for your manifestations to come true. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with over the years who are like, Matthew, I've got this dream and I want this thing to come and I'm ready. And I just want you to know, when I look in their life sucks. Like they suck at getting things done effectively. They don't actually follow all the way through. There's all these broken things everywhere. See, when everything is working in your life, that's called operating with integrity. Like when everything is working, in that state, magic happens and dreams materialize fast. When things lack integrity, meaning they lack functionality or they lack workability, when that's happening, you get distracted. It takes your energy away. It takes your focus away. Your mind starts talking. You begin to worry. You begin to fret. I think about it in this way. If you're driving along in your car, like most of us, we're just driving along in our car. We think nothing of it. We're focused somewhere else. We're just cruising right along. That is the car operating with integrity. But if you're driving along in your car and all of a sudden the front left tire starts to wiggle, instantaneously, your experience of the situation is degraded. You are no longer in that dreamy state or in conversation or listen to music or listen to a podcast or what, like you're not there anymore. Now you're like, oh my God, turn off the radio. Whoa, when is this thing? And this thing is over here. Your wheel is malfunctioning. Essentially, the car is no longer operating with integrity. Anything in your life that is out of integrity will create a nagging feeling. And that nagging feeling will take you away from your manifesting ability. So when your life is operating with integrity, it provides you with an opportunity to harvest your full potential. You aren't distracted by the nagging things that don't work. And there are 4 levers that you can pull to become more fortified and more functional. And I want to give you those levers now. So the first one, will you write down for me, please, is called being empowered. Being empowered. Being empowered is really just a contextual framework. It's the process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling your life and claiming your rights. So empowerment, you can experience it by doing a couple things. The first thing is you have to learn to recontextualize. So I'm just going to go back to my book. Like you have to read my book over and over and over and over, get your mind to go quiet. And you do that by becoming empowered, because when you're empowered, there's nothing to worry about. And empowerment itself is nothing more than a contextual framework that gives you strength, fortitude, and power. It literally is this framework that says all is well. When you trust that everything is going your way, even when it's not, you don't get the nagging, crazy thoughts, and you're in your full power. Empowerment really means you don't allow yourself to use the negative thinking to guide your actions, which is something that I know you've been working on, but I'm asking you to work on it in a deeper way by dealing with the hidden motives to survive, because you have worked on being positive and you still get trash talk going on in your head. And that is because of the hidden motives. So recontextualizing the hidden motives helps you to become empowered. Here's the question that I have for you. What is one thing you can do this week to become more empowered? Write it down now. What is one thing you can do this week to become more empowered? Next up, number 2, we're talking about the 4 levers to increase your functional integrity as a human being, right? So if you're a car, we would just make sure all the bolts are tightened and everything is worked together and the belts are working and the computer is connected to all of the different sensors, right? That's functional integrity. But for a human being, there's really only 4 things. So number 2 is being transparent. That means you have thoughts and feelings, you have motivations that are easily perceived by other people around you. You're communicating free from hidden agendas and manipulation, because the thing is that hidden agendas and manipulation always get revealed and they always blow up and they always slow everything down. And they will actually limit your manifesting power. So you have to learn to speak with trust and speak openly. This is a practice. You acknowledge that telling the truth is a privilege. You're not actually in a survival situation. In a survival situation, telling the truth is optional, because you could tell the truth and instantly be harmed because of it. But you're not in a survival situation. You have the privilege of being able to speak openly and tell the truth. You have to practice having nothing hidden, being truthful and honest, and communicating in a constructive way for all involved. So write down one thing that you want to be transparent about this week to improve your integrity. And then let's go with number 3. Number 3, again, we're pulling the levers for integrity. Number 3 is being reliable. being reliable. And so reliability, if you just look in the dictionary, it's like consistently good in quality and performance, able to be trusted, right? But for us, we want to get a little deeper. To be reliable, it's so important. You only engage in activities that you actually agree to versus engaging in activities that are based on guilt or obligation or fear or greed. You only say yes to things that you actually agree with. On top of that, you create structure to complete your work and keep your promise. You measure, you monitor, and you report the progress of your work. You do complete work. You do things to the best of your ability. And I think it's even more important, like you don't cut corners, right? You do it like it's supposed to be done, which means you have to give yourself the time that you need. It also means that you actually have to do things that you want to do. Because if you're doing things you don't want to do, you'll fucking cut corners. And if you do, you will become disempowered, and you'll also become known as someone who cuts corners, which will reduce the amount of trust that you have in the environment, which means that your opportunity set will shrink, which means your manifestations are way harder. What is one reliable thing that you can do, like something you can do this week to just be more reliable? Write it down right now, please. So again, human beings have 4 levers that they can pull with integrity. And when you pull these levers, you become more fortified and functional, which means everything gets easier. It's easy, it's effortless, and it's enjoyable. So 1 is being empowered, 2 is being transparent, 3 is being reliable, and 4, you keep your word. Now, here's the thing. You only give your word to things that you want to do. You don't give your word to things that you don't want to do, that annoy you. You don't give your word to things to manipulate other people, which you do all the time. You don't give your word to things so that you look good or look awesome or look amazing, because it'll always backfire on you. You'll always malfunction. You do what you say you will do when you say you will do it. And you hold yourself accountable, and you create structures with others, and you create structures to fulfill your promises. So let me put in what I think would be a great suggested homework assignment for this coming week. And it is improve one area of your life by becoming either empowered, being more transparent, improving your reliability, or keeping your word. Play with it. See what you can come up with. Now, I realize that I have given you a ton to think about tonight, but I want you to know that this is what I'm committed to. I'm not committed to fluff. I'm not committed to pussyfooting around. I'm committed to like hitting you with everything I got every single time. And I know that you know me in that way. So I'm never going to back down. I'm always going to give you what it will really take for you to manifest your true desires. Now, I've given you a ton to think about, but there are 4 additional things that I'm going to recommend. So 1, I would love for you to print out the Clear Your Energy for Attraction checklist and read through it every day to start your day. Let me just put this in here now. 2, I would love for you to choose your favorite meditation of the 5 meditations that you got with this course and do one of them every single day, please. One of my personal favorites is probably the 10-10 visualization. Then I want you to set up an accountability buddy on GroupMe. So get onto GroupMe and find out like who's open to like talking every day about implementing these things and really getting into the stuff that we're talking about here, creating some accountability and some integrity so you can start to shift your life and move it forward. That, my friends, is all I got for you today in regards to our bonus call. And again, just going back to like, what was the game we were playing today? this is a manifesting blueprint. This is distinct. Everything that we're talking about today is distinct from the 8 steps that we're going to go through. You could call the 8 steps the beginner steps. And what we talked about today, this is the real mastery level manifesting process. So I gave you a roadmap to reorganize your life and to create the conditions for your dreams to come true in 2023. And there were 8 conditions that we spoke about. And just to recap them one more time for you, the 8 conditions are knowing, commitment, alignment, being, speaking, action, structure, and integrity. You get those things like, slowly moving up in every area, your manifesting power goes bonkers. So I want to open up to any questions, concerns, comments, thoughts, hallucinations, excitement, emotional overload, anything at all. I'd be here for you.
So Christy's already set me down the path of getting some of this structure in place, which we worked on this week. Thanks to Jay for speaking on Chai's call last week, and putting 2 things together, or us together on this particular thing. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm working through that. That's eliminating things that are done by obligation or too much stuff, and focusing down on the things that are going to move the needle, so I can have more integrity and keep my word on things and be more reliable to myself and others. So thanks, Christy.
Oh, that's super awesome. And just so you guys, to bring some of you in, we have a Ignite mastermind group that meets every Tuesday night, and we open that enrollment in September and start in October. And so we're deep in that now, and there's a bunch of people who are on this call who are in that group. That's what Tristan was talking about. And sometimes other members host the call, and it was Ty that hosted the call last time. Okay, great. So questions, thoughts, concerns, support, help, anything. Christy, jump in.
I just had to tell you how awesome you are at teaching manifestation, because for the last few days, I've been like, I gotta find that awesome meditation that I used to do in the app. I loved it. It was about 30 minutes. It made me feel awesome. And I was like, I gotta reach out to Kristen and see if I can find that. And guess what showed up in my inbox today? The 1010. I'm so excited. So I had to, it's such a good meditation. So thanks for that.
Well, and here's a little spoiler alert. Spoiler alert is we're working diligently in the background on creating a weekend meditation retreat up in the mountains with people. And in that process, we're taking our meditations and we're removing any barriers, any of the gatekeeping that we have in place, like we had the app. And so now what we're going to do is be releasing all of our meditations in one of our aggregators. So our meditations are going to be on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Music, Prime, YouTube. They're going to be everywhere soon enough. So stand by. Good. Anyone? Bueller? Support, help, question, clarifier, anything?
Oh, quick question about the hidden motive to survive, but releasing meditation. When will those be released?
I have up right now on my computer. I have the like system for getting them released into the world. It's actually up, and I've uploaded the artwork, and now I'm about to upload the audios. So I don't know how long it will take for them to process it, to get them into the, aggregate them out to the world. But we should have them uploaded on our side in the next few days at maximum.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Raymond, for staying on us on that. I really appreciate it. It's helped us a lot, you being so psycho about it. Okay, thanks for that.
Thank you.
Hey, Matthew, I'm trying to get into the GroupMe. What is the chat called? I have the app.
I don't know. I have to ask Kristen, the commander of all things, to jump in.
So there's a link in the chat that'll take you right through, and then I'll approve you. You don't have to go find it in GroupMe. It'll actually just take you right to our private group.
Yeah, just
Or on the Zoom chat for tonight.
Sorry, will that be emailed to us? Because when we hang up from this Zoom, then that chat goes away, and I never can find it, and I can't get into that.
Well, you could click it right now, Kara, and it will be emailed to you.
both.
It also
Okay.
came in an email last week as well.
Yes, it did. It's been out for over a week. There'll be an email with it in there, and you can click on the link right now if you'd like.
It's a different one than the other group. Is that what you're saying? Is that
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
it's a different
correct.
group me than the group me for the
Yeah, so this is a group me just for this 8-week course.
Got it.
Just for everybody who's participating in the manifestation course.
Okay.
You're
I
exactly
wasn't
right.
sure. Mixed. Okay, got it.
Yeah, good question. Really good question. We did have a question in the chat about whether or not people have access to this recording. We are going to make this recording available. Typically, guys, our goal is to always have things up within 24 to 48 hours, and we always ask for grace and patience.
Yep. We do our.
We're a small but savvy team over here, baby. Small but savvy.
That's us. Good. Anybody else help, support, clarify, or anything? I want to be there for you to clarify anything that we spoke about. I know that I was a little bit of a fire hose today.
No kidding.
Just today?
Yeah, exactly.
As
We
per
love you.
usual.
Never not a fire hose. All
That's
right,
for
wonderful.
sure.
All right, my friends. Well, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for signing up at the Epic Life Live. I hadn't sold anything at the back of the room in like 10 years. And so I didn't know how it was going to go, or like, do I even know how to do it anymore? That kind of thing. It was a fantastic turnout for all the people that signed up. And so I really appreciate you. It gave me a huge boost of confidence, you signing up and being on this. So thank you for that. And thank you for all the referrals, by the way, that you've been sending our way for the manifesting course. Oh my God. So many people are saying, wow, so-and-so told me to sign up. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep them coming. We got another week before we actually start this whole damn thing, but you're in early, right? So you need to like get in and get going and get communicating with the other people in this group. This is your group right here, okay? Kristen,
question,
something to say.
Go ahead, Tristan.
Is it weekly or bi-weekly? This is every week, isn't it? Cool.
Yep, every week. I just accepted everybody that reached out into Group Me, and I just want to give a heads up. There's 5 more hours on early bird. We're closing it down at 11 p.m. Pacific this evening. So if you have any friends that you know that want to join us, today's the day. It's $295 tonight until 11 p.m. and then it goes up to $495 tomorrow until the day before the course starts a week from today on the 22nd. And if you need any help or anything, reach out. I'm always here.
Send them over. Maybe
Yeah.
Eli will call them.
Yeah.
All right, my friends. Have a good one. Thanks for being on tonight. Go get some food, hang out. Talk to y'all soon.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Hi, thank you.
See ya.
Welcome. Bye-bye.